the quickest way to like turn me off to someone is like watching a beautiful person like know they're beautiful and then like putting an Instagram video up or something like that showing how beautiful they are.
That's what makes you beautiful. One Direction.
One Direction. That's what they said. That's what makes you beautiful. Posting it.
Why
human do? I'm Terry.
And I'm Jed.
And together we human. On this episode, we are talking how do transplants. And we're not talking about organ transplants.
No surgeons
here. No surgery here. What we're actually talking about is how do you become a transplant in a new city? And we're going to extend this not just to someone who's moving to a city for a very long period of time, but how do you transplant to a new city as like a tourist? How do you ingratiate yourself to the local community? How do you make sure that you're setting yourself up for success when you're in a new place, in a new environment?
How do you carry yourself and maneuver the social situations in a different place?
I think what's also very particular about this because I think we talk a lot about social interaction between people, like person to person, but this is really about a person to a community. It's really about like how do you pick up on the delicate sort of ecosystem that exists in any given city, and how do you sort of just like jump into the flow of it, right? Because like every time you move to a new city or visit a new city, you're kind of like jumping into its own like
rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. And like and so a part of why we both like wanted to talk about this, because recently we were each in New York for a week, City. Which, you know, we were tourists, but of course, like in a way, I stayed with my sister who lives there, and you stayed with your friend who lives there.
Yes.
And so we were sort of less tourists, and we were more kind of like vibing with the local community, I think. And that's why we wanted to talk about it, because I think, you know, probably between the two of us, we visited different places, and we can even talk to a trip that we took together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where we had to sort of like jump in and like be one with the culture. But I think like there are very specific rules to jumping into a new spot. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, you know, ultimately, how do you jump into an unknown environment, which is not just like person to person, but like you to many people, and how do you adapt to that quickly and make sure you're not stepping on any toes. And we're also going to settle which is the best city once and for all.
Please don't come at us. Don't come at us.
But there is a right answer. There's only one right answer, and it might not be the one you think.
Or
it might be
I
the
think
one you
know.
would probably think. But before we get started, I think we always start every episode with just like any sort of weird social interaction that maybe happened to us recently. And like we do a social verdict on whether we handled it appropriately.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that happened in like the past week or so that,
I mean,
or any time, honestly?
We have that shared experience that we could probably both get into.
Yeah, we talk about.
We'll save that maybe.
Oh, sure,
or
we can save it. No, we can do whatever.
That?
Yeah, we can do whatever.
But I mean, I have a really, really minor one.
Yeah, sure.
This is so not related at all to our trip, which is that you see someone that you're talking to and you realize there's a bit of debris on their face.
Oh.
A crumb, or like a leafy green in their tooth.
I know. So there is actually, I've heard a rule of thumb to correcting people, some physical thing. And it's if they can fix it within like 30 seconds or 60 seconds, then you tell them immediately. Yeah. But if they can't, then you don't say anything. So it's like, it definitely like zeroes in on things that can be like immediately solved, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just pointing something out that they can't do anything about.
Right.
And that's like doesn't feel
good. Hey, that pimple of yours.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. You're like, okay, thank you so much for that. Like, I didn't know. Yeah. But if you have like some people are really, really good. Like I think the other day when we were in New York, actually, I think one of our mutual friends very quickly pointed out to me that I had something in my teeth, and she did it like so, like as part of such a throwaway part of the conversation that it was like, oh, thank you so much, and like we didn't make a big deal about it. Yeah. It was just like, okay. It is funny though when you do the thing where it's like the elusive thing that's on your face, and you're like, did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? Suddenly you've like wiped your entire face clean and it's still there.
Yeah, there are some instances where, like for me, sometimes it'll be, oh, you got a
little
thing there. And then it's always a question of, are you pointing at your left side or my left side?
Yeah, I know, right? You're like,
and you're, oh no, a little, and then you just, If you do it if you have to check more than twice, it's just kind of like, you know what? It's just gonna live.
It's
there
gonna
now.
live there. It's there for good. Or it's like, oh, that's just a birthmark.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
scary
it's like,
thing.
sorry,
of
yeah, you're
like,
like, no,
hey,
that's just there.
that
Sorry.
thing that I thought was not really that's
You
part
wasn't
of who
supposed to be
you
part of you. It's
Yeah.
it's been there since you were born. Yeah, there is like a very like there's a social grace to telling someone that something is off, right?
Because I can't imagine. I mean, again, by the parameters of between 30 to 60 seconds fixable thing,
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone being like, "Oh, I'd rather you not tell me."
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no, I
right?
can't imagine.
There's no scenario I think like that. Like especially like a booger on your nose.
A booger
or
on your
like
nose.
something in your hair or any number of
Yeah.
things. I mean, a spill is like different. Like usually like it's like I got this stain on my shirt
Right.
or whatever, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So-
Something in the teeth and something around the mouth is usually the easiest.
That's usually like a food related
food related stuff.
stuff. It's
That's
like
pretty
totally
easy to
fair
just be like,
game
oh,
to
hey, you
talk
got
about.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it out as soon as you see it, as
right, or like
tactfully
a
as
collar
possible.
is like your collar's
Oh
not
yes.
done, or
Hey, your collar.
your tag
oh
is
yes.
showing.
Yes.
Um,
I will say, it is interesting that you mentioned booger because I do find that one a little bit harder to bring.
it is
up.
harder. It's a little bit harder because it's like I don't know what it is about it because like a food thing is like a natural thing that happens when you're just eating.
Mhm.
But like a booger thing is like, oh, it's like how long has that been there? Has
And-
anyone else not told you about it?
And I think mechanically, there's something that's a little bit different about approaching how to correct it.
Yeah.
Like with something on your face,
Yeah,
you can have a little.
do you do like do you ever do the like, hey Jed, and you don't say anything, but you just kind
Yeah.
of like do a little motion, or do you do like a you have a booger?
I
in
think
your
you.
nose?
I think you. Depending on your comfort level, I think you kind of have to specify that.
Yeah,
it's a booger.
because
Hey,
it's
you
also
got
different if
something-
you're. It's also different if you're one-on-one or in a social set. Like if you're, because like
Yeah.
when I was not corrected, I wouldn't say, but like when our friend flagged, I think you were there, and I think we were at dinner, and
dinner.
so I think it was a moment where I was sitting across from her, and she
Mhm.
saw me, and she just like very quickly under her, very
Mhm.
casually just mentioned it,
Yeah.
and I don't think made a deal about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she kind of said, "Oh, you got something,"
Yeah,
and so I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah,
that's tasteful,
it's very tasteful, Yeah.
elegant solution.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like more we can draw from this, like like a larger lesson in life about how we go about correcting other people's behavior.
Right.
Like, is there sort of like a thing like that, like, oh, if it's a behavior that's been learned over your entire lifetime, like don't try to correct it. You know what I mean? If it's like a small, like, would you ever go around and like, would you chastise your friends for doing something? Or another big question is, do you chastise other people's kids for doing something that's clearly wrong?
Ooh.
Like, my thing is like, I don't like to police my friends' kids, even if they're behaving badly,
Mhm.
because I don't think it's my job to do that.
Mhm.
But B, I'm just the fun friend that comes around and plays with the kid for a
The
little bit.
funkle.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like the fun uncle who comes and I'm like, I'm not here to police your behavior.
Yeah.
Like, that's not my job. Like, it's your parents' job to be your disciplinarian.
That's when you're allowed to be the fair weather friend
Yes, totally.
in their life.
Yeah, completely.
I am not a chastiser.
Yeah.
When it comes to my nephews, I'll mostly defer to my sister's judgment.
Yeah.
Unless they're really
Unless
get
they're
on
being
my
really,
nerves.
really annoying.
And
what
it's
about-
egregious to end like maybe they're being disrespectful to, I don't know, like one of the more senior figures.
Right,
You say
totally.
please.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
what do you say?
Yeah, it's like there's probably a way to correct their behavior that doesn't
Yeah.
feel like chastising.
Yeah. In
Like, you
general, though.
encourage them to do something else.
Yeah, but I don't think
Yeah.
I chastise my friends.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like when you're adults, you just like stop hanging out with people that fundamentally
Yeah.
kind of like don't align with your beliefs and how you see the world. It's so funny, like, just do you ever like have moments where I think I might have told you about this. I'm not gonna go into specifics about it, but like
Name names.
beep. Where you kind of like your friends who you've known for a while say something where you're just like, whoa, we are totally out of sync in what we believe in the world.
When you realize just how far apart.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
become.
And like maybe it just happens and maybe it's just on one matter,
Yeah.
but it kind of is like signifies like,
The
oh
gap.
wow, we really are in alignment.
That is a tough thing to navigate because it is certainly the harder, more difficult thing to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
That suggests confrontation and having
Right.
a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
And then sussing out, like, is it worth having?
Exactly. Because I do firmly believe that some friendships, some relationships must exist within very particular lanes if you want to keep them in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like family members who you like can't, if you don't want to totally cut them out of your life, you have to decide like either whatever they believe is bad enough that we have to cut ties, or you just have to restrict all conversations to a very narrow lane of what you can talk about so that you don't get into it. Like, that's how I believe fundamentally. I mean, in most relationships, I think like you have to determine whether it's worth it to engage with that, because otherwise when you engage in it, you have to know that it could go nuclear at some point, right? That it could just blow up the whole relationship.
Yeah, it is certainly a chance you take, because some friends I have taken the chance to go
Engage
a little bit more, engage and be more vulnerable.
Sure.
And it's paid off wonderfully.
I think you have to fundamentally, you have to understand whether your friend is a person who is a fixed mindset sort of person, or if they want to grow. Yeah. Their growth mindset.
And you kind of gauge that over time, because there's a different friend of ours who, if I get into something a little bit more like that, they're not very good at hiding how disinterested they are.
Ooh. They just don't want to engage in the conversation.
It's very much like a
sure. Right. It's like, I don't want to. No. You're never going to win me over.
And you just pick up. They're like, okay, this is not the.
And then some friends are so curious to know, like they want to be like, oh yeah, like I do want to know, like, I try to pride myself in being someone who like wants to learn. Like I try to be open. I'm like, obviously I have my biases, and like, you're never going to argue with me. You're never going to argue me into like that billionaires shouldn't be taxed. You know what I mean? Sure. Like there's certain things where I'm just like, no, this is, you can
take a hard
you can do all the mental gymnastics you want, but I'm not going to believe in it. But there are times when I'm just like, yeah, maybe I am not thinking about this in a way that I should be, or like I want to learn more. I want a different perspective.
This is a perfect time for me to tell you about a video game I've been playing.
Is that when I check out? Is that my like, oh yeah. Anytime Jed starts talking about a video game, or anime, I'm just like, oh sure. I try to like, I'm like, what can I ask? Like, how can I relate to this?
It's a meta enjoyment for me, because I can tell you try sometimes, and I play around with it too, because I'm just like, he doesn't want to hear about this. I'm just like, I'm getting such a kick out of him trying to survive this conversation.
Well, because it was so funny. We had an interaction when we went so we were screening our short film, and there was like an interaction with someone in the audience afterwards. Oh yeah. And it was funny because like, there are times when I like really am, and maybe I was just like in a little bit of a high from like having screened the film, and we were just like talking to people, and someone, he like came up to me afterwards and like was just like started a conversation with me about the movie, and so I was like, oh, I'll engage with this, but I didn't realize the whole time like how like hard it was for you to like stay in that conversation.
Dude, I was suffering.
Yeah, but I was like, I guess I was in the mood to play ball. Yeah, I was like, I'll carry this conversation.
I think generally you're well equipped to interact with people for a sustained period.
I try. Sometimes I'm like, after prolonged periods of time where I'm just not getting anything back, I gotta exit. Yeah. Some people are so good at exiting conversations in a socially graceful way, and I'm like not. I've been trying to get better at it. Yeah. Like I've definitely done the thing where like I'm like able to like both wrap up the conversation, but also like pivot away to another conversation. Like that's like something I've been working on, trying to do better, it's where really it doesn't feel like you're like rejecting the person, but you're just like kind of moving the conversation along somewhere else.
It's so much more nicer when you're part of a larger group, so you can just kind of like, okay, this conversation has ended, now we're opening it up and participating in the larger conversation. For me, in that instance, I had already used my go-to get-out-of-jail-free card, which was, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Right. And I just came from the bathroom, and I was like, I need to go
Oh, God, what do I do? Bathroom. How do I have another excuse? I'm going to go throw up.
I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah, it's like, what other natural body habits excuses do I have?
Sweat.
Yeah, exactly.
We are pivoting. I think we're going on a lot of tangents.
Yeah, we are.
We've gone on a lot. We covered a lot of good stuff, though. Did you have an awkward thing that happened to you?
Well, I could talk about my turbulence, my flight turbulence story. Yes,
by all means.
That was like a good. I actually found it kind of funny. It was like, so on my flight. I mean, I know I've already done an airplane story.
That's right. Check out last episode.
Check out that episode. What we're referring to. So I was flying to New York as we mentioned, and actually I booked my flight through, I told you this, I booked my flight through Chase, the Chase app, because I had some points, and they sent me like a weird email like a week before I was supposed to fly out being like, your itinerary's changed. So log into the app and like agree to the terms or whatever. So I log into the app and nothing's changed about my flight. So I'm like, okay, and there's no place to be like accept flight or whatever. But, it's nagging in the back of my head that something is wrong with it. So I end up like 2 days before, I call Chase customer service, Chase Travel, and I'm like, I don't understand what happened. Like, but I just had a feeling. So I tell the guy, and he's like, and he tells me, I'm like, something seemed weird. Like they never gave me a place to accept the changes or whatever. And he's like, oh, let me look at your flight. And he's like, oh, your flight got canceled and they haven't rebooked you. So I'm gonna have to call American Airlines to like rebook you on another flight. And so we go through this whole process where he's like, can you hold for 5 minutes? He calls American Airlines. He's like, gets back on the line. It's like, we're still waiting. He was actually very good. The Chase Travel guy was very good. He kept like updating me, but we like end up waiting for he's interfacing with the American Airlines. And I guess they end up, and it ends up being that they bumped me an hour to another flight. But I'm like, you can't just like,
you can't do that.
Cancel someone's flight and not like give them like a proper like not like any sort of like message that like alerts them to that, because I would have gone to the airport,
right?
Because it didn't say anything. It didn't say my flight had been canceled. It didn't say I was off that flight. So anyway, this is all just backstory to say like the flight was like starting off with like a little bumpy. And so I get to the airport and it ends up being that they need another part. They like some sort of like part in the front they need to replace or get fixed. So they delay us another hour, and we're already on the flight. So it ends up being like another hour delay, which is fine because it's a red eye. So I was going to arrive at 6 a.m. anyway. So it's like getting up at 7 a.m. is not a big deal. But we finally get up into the air and it's pretty bumpy.
Yeah.
And it ends up being like one of probably, if not the most turbulent flights I've ever been on, the most turbulent flight I've ever been on. It's like for probably at least like an hour or two of the total flight, it's like serious bumpage. And so I'm sitting at the very last row. So I'm by the both by the bathrooms and by where the flight attendants are doing all of their like prep work and where they sit down during the bumpy parts of the flight, because they have to, when it gets really bad, the flight attendants aren't walking around. And so probably like an hour and a half into the flight, they've already done their drink and food service, which, by the way, as I mentioned before, American does give free food now, a little snack box. Shout out to American for doing that. But it's like an hour and a half in, and all the seatbelt signs are on, and it's bumpy. It's pretty bumpy. Like we're really like knocking, like to a point where I'm like, oh, are some of the like, when you see in movies like when the overhead like bins start opening and like it starts falling off and knocking into people's head. Like for a moment I was like, is that gonna happen? And so the flight attendants are all seated in the back, strapped in. I don't see them because the curtain's drawn, but I hear them. And so,
saying, oh God.
Yeah, yeah. No, but at one point they were like, I overhear the conversation, and one of the flight attendants tells the other flight attendant, he's like, oh, they've got to reroute us because this is so crazy. Because like when it gets really bumpy, they'll try a new route.
Yes.
But they don't reroute us. So midway through, like after this I hear this conversation, I see this like, I don't know, 70-year-old man making his way down the aisle, trying to get to the bathroom, which, like, the point of like the fact that they had the service already was like he had drunk something. He's like probably needs to go pee, and I just like I'm sitting in the back row. I'm on the aisle, so I have a full view. I'm like front row seat to this interaction. I see the guy gripping the seats. He's like, when it's really turbulent and you have to like grip onto the like shoulder rests of each of the seats on the way over because you're like holding on for dear life. It's like Legends of the Hidden Temple, and you're like you have the helmet on and you're like grabbing through. You're like trying to get through. And I see this guy and I'm like, I'm a little nervous for him too, right? Because it's bumping. This guy could get thrown in the air.
And he's an elderly gentleman.
He's an elderly gentleman. Like a fall at that age, really ruins the rest of your life. And so he's like nearly toward me, and all I hear from the back is, "Sir, you need to sit down now." And the guy's like, "I have to go to the bathroom." And so, and then the follow-up is, "Fine, but you are taking your life into your own hands right now." He's like, "You are doing this at your own risk. You have," and so the guy's like, "Okay." So he like gets to the bathroom, and the final words are, "Stay in the bathroom."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. So the flight attendant is really becoming the disciplinarian in this moment. He's like, you are doing this against my advice. I'm against better judgment.
Very clear legal.
Yeah, he's like sign on the dotted line right here because if you get hurt, it's not on us. And so like the guy like finally like gets into the bathroom and he disappears. And to his credit, he disappears into that bathroom for the next 45 minutes. I'm sure he's just cowering there, like waiting for the turbulence to be done.
One of the most, I can imagine being one of the most vulnerable situations.
I know.
Having to go to the bathroom while being shaken violently.
Shaken violently plus being like shaken emotionally by this flight attendant. And so finally, like, I think probably like 45 minutes later, the turbulence is not as bad. So the guy like crawls out and like emerges from the like the toilet.
He's an infant. He's been reduced to infancy.
Exactly, which I think is so funny. It's so funny getting read by the flight attendant, like as like a 65-year-old, 70-year-old man. And I'm just watching this whole interaction, feeling secondhand embarrassment for the whole thing on both sides, and
enjoying
just,
your complimentary snack.
Enjoying my complimentary snacks. I was like, I'm fine. I went to the bathroom like before all this happened.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm good to go.
So yeah, that was like you got in before things got worse.
Yes, totally.
Bathroom wise,
I know that is a lovely feeling. The moment you realize like you took care of things before things shit hit the fan. Yes. You know what I mean? Like it happens every once in a while where you're like, wow, the timing really worked out for me. Like,
it's like
this was great.
I had the foresight.
I know.
Finally.
I was like, it's really worked out. It's like everyone's like pulling over to put their chains on their car on the snow, and you're like, I already got my chains on. I got my snow tires. You know what I mean? It's like I did the thing.
There's some degree of like comfort being like, oh, thank goodness that's not me.
Yes.
That's being
oh my God. Oh yes. Totally. I'm so glad to be in the like situation where I'm not begging or. So anyway,
this is another case of being in favor of aisle seats.
Oh, I love an aisle seat. I will fight people to the death on aisle seat. So much better than a window seat.
For practical reasons. If
like,
you are someone who enjoys a more recreational ride and can hold your mind,
doesn't mind asking people to like. For me, I'd much rather just like have the freedom to be able to get in and out. Mm-hmm. And like, to be honest, anyone who says they can sleep on the like window anymore I don't see how they can, because those things are so far away now. And like you don't have to like slide in. You're like you know, it's like it used to be like that they were kind of like nuzzled up against each other, like a little bit more, like you could like find a little like corner to like
a little
put pressure, you know, like a little lean. But now it's just like it's like as far away. It's like me trying to like lean up against this wall.
Let me just
like,
get really comfortable.
Yeah,
it is really fascinating to see how people in the middle seat fall asleep, which is pull the tray out and put your face right down.
I love that. I love the like head on the like. It's like we're back in kindergarten taking a nap after recess.
It looks like he's been disciplined.
Yeah. The other thing that's I think is so funny, and just like I just like think about this every time I go. I take my plebeian seat at the back of the plane, that they force you to walk past everyone who has a better seat than you.
Oh, I know. That's always so funny.
It's like the walk of shame. It's like, oh, how much did you pay for your seat? And it's like everyone's judging you along the way. It's like it increasingly becomes like the lowest class until you're like in the like, I don't know, the like windowless room in the Titanic.
Or what's that train movie?
Snowpiercer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's like Snowpiercer. It's like, but they force you to walk through every single upper class train, and like everyone just stares at you, wondering when you're gonna stop, because then they can judge you on what your status is. But once you pass through, they're like, better than that guy.
But when you're in the back, you're like, my fellow.
My fellow then you only commiserate. Then you're like, look at us, working class back here.
Aren't we all proud of how we have no leg space?
Yeah. So I guess social verdicts. We don't really have social verdicts.
There's no social verdicts to make.
Yeah, we were witnesses.
We were witnesses, and bypassed the brunt of these social forces.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So let's get to the topic of our conversation, which is how do transplant. And we're not talking about kidneys or livers. We're talking about
hearts,
transplant, or hearts.
Cover it all.
We are talking about like, what do you do? And I think like we can sort of divide this up into like how long we're staying in different places, and like moments when we've like been in new locations, and we can even open it up not just to like the city. We can also open up to spaces that are like, you enter a new space, and that is its own community, and with that you have to respect the rules of that community.
Yes.
Maybe a subreddit even.
Oh, lurk
much.
But
I think let's start with the topic of like, you come to a new city and you're a tourist and you're there for a little while, And I think our most recent example is that we were in New York, and I think what was interesting about our time in New York was like it was on fire.
Oh, in a positive way.
In a positive way. The city was on fire.
Just a
not the way
momentous time to visit.
Fires happen in California, but the way fires happen in the spirit of New York.
Oh.
Where the Knicks were playing the championships.
Yes.
While we were there, they won.
Yep.
The World Cup was all happening.
Yes.
Pride was happening. I think Brooklyn Pride was happening. We were having our comedy festival, which is on par with the World Cup.
Yes,
you know?
it is equivalent in magnitude.
But there was this like spirit in the city. It was the summertime. It's like people are out and about.
People are enjoying their mayor for the most part.
People are enjoying their mayor, for the most part.
For progressives.
For progressives. So people are like living on a high.
Yeah.
And so like I think for me personally, I'm not even a sports fan, but that week I was there, I was a sports fan. Right. I was a basketball fan. I think like there is like a sort of accepting community that's like fair weather fans are welcome right now because like let's be honest, like a lot of people in New York probably weren't Knicks fans before the championship, right?
A lot.
So let's call it. Let's be okay with that. Like so like you go to a city and you gotta first off accept the vibe that we're in, right? Whatever the moment is, like we're in it. Yeah. We're with you.
I think the mentality is to be aware of the level of gatekeeping people feel about their city or their community.
Yeah.
And to know where you stand within.
I think that's probably good. I think it's like you watch the avid diehard fans and you're like, okay, I see how you're doing it. Let me come at like 60% of that. Like let me like I'm not gonna be like so diehard enthusiastic, but you know, I'm gonna support your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I think in general that's like that can be applied not just to like sports events, but it can be applied to like how people are just like interacting in the world. Like you watch, you observe how people are moving, and you kind of like follow their lead, but not at 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what's the saying? When in Rome, do as the
Romans do. Do.
Why Roman do?
Yeah, I think that's very accurate, and I think it's like a good rule of thumb. Like when you enter a city, like you first gotta like listen. You gotta be a good listener. You gotta like listen in many ways, not just through your ears, but through your vibes. And you gotta be like, what's the vibe of the city? Like how are people like moving, like physically moving? Like what's the pace that people are moving? You gotta keep up with that pace.
Yeah. Keep up with the pace. Be aware of your own surroundings and yourself in the space.
Totally.
The sort of stereotype of New Yorkers is they know how to walk.
They know how to
be pedestrians.
Get out of their way.
Get out of the way.
Don't stop to look at your phone and like in the middle of a sidewalk.
Right. Don't stop abruptly.
Nope.
Be aware. And also, like, say in the subway, you know, what is the common body language? What is the sort of common experience for everyone?
Yeah.
Is everyone being quiet? Is there an acceptable level of conversation?
Yeah, totally.
Are you being obnoxious? Is it acceptable?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about New York is that, which can be a bit more challenging, because it's easy to be deferential in a city, but it's hard to be as aggressive. And sometimes you have to, as a tourist in New York, being passive can be as annoying as being aggressive. So like in some cities, like being aggressive is like, oh, you're being so obnoxious, like you shouldn't be this kind of tourist. But in New York, you better be pushing your way through things, or you're getting in other people's ways. You know what I mean? Like when the subway doors open, you better be at that door. You better be pushing your way out.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
I didn't make it in time and it closed on me.
Oh,
it closed on me and then opened. And then I was
push.
like, I either double down or I back off. And I'm like, at the time, I was like, I'd rather back off and not inconvenience anyone anymore.
Yeah, totally.
And I suffered.
Yeah. There was this funny story. It's like a core memory of mine. I remember being like, I was probably like 10 at the time. I want to say that sounds about right. We were in Boston, not New York. I was with my family. We were visiting Boston, and we got on the subway, the metro line there, and we were all like, our whole family was on the subway, but it was a packed subway car, and we were all getting off at a stop. I think I was with my dad, like he was the closest person to me, and so like everyone, I tried to push my way through, but it was so crowded, and I was like a little kid, so I didn't know how to like push my way through, but we got separated. And this was this was the time before cell phones.
Yeah.
This was the time before like easy access to like, oh, okay, like let's coordinate, like let's get back on. Like, so it was like the question was like going through my head. It was like, shoot, what do I do? Do I just like get off? And unfortunately, I think my dad was with me, so we like had an adult in the room. But I was like, how do they know whether should they come to us? Should we go back to them? I remember being like, this was like a big like moment for me where I was like, what happens next? Will we ever see our family again?
Right.
You know what I mean?
The sensation of being lost or separated from your group, your family, your friends, whatever, and the means of communication are limited, like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
That is a horrible feeling.
I know. It's funny, like we just like kind of don't experience that anymore because of cell phones and because of smartphones. But there was a time before all of that where like you legit like if you didn't like meet up with someone, you just like never saw them again. You know what I mean?
You're in the mall with your friends or your family and you look away and you look back and they're gone. How are you going to find them?
Oh my God, completely. You just like end up going back home and like just like throwing your hands up and be like, well, guess that wasn't going to work out.
Guess I'll just walk home.
There was this time when I was, so when I was studying abroad in college, I studied abroad in Madrid. And this was a time when we had cell phones, but we didn't have smartphones. And also it was a time when like, you think about this stuff, like technology changes and things become easier, but like, one of the things that's happened since like smartphones has come out is like that you don't need to like always buy a new cell phone when you get to a new country and like get a new SIM card. Like you can just use your plan because they're like global now and stuff like that. So you don't think about like that's part of technological changes is like the infrastructure changes and like operationally like things get easier. But so at the time when I was landing I had a cell phone, but my American cell phone wasn't going to work when I landed. And so I loosely like made a plan because I was going to study abroad with a bunch of other kids from my school, but we were all like landing at the same, at different times. And so like before our very first like group event, I was going to meet up with someone that I knew from my school. And we had made this loose plan to be like, hey, you're getting in on this date. I'm getting in on this date. Why don't we try to meet at noon on Sunday at the Prado, which is the art museum there. And I was like, God, it would be a miracle if this works out. Thinking that because like we don't have new cell phones. We don't know each other's new cell phone numbers because we were all gonna get new cell phones when we got there, like like disposable phones or whatever with new SIM cards that we could all like talk to each other. And so like I was thinking like, well, here's a roll of the dice. But I ended up showing up at the front footsteps and I saw my friend there and he was waiting there and I was like, whoa,
magic!
It was magical. I was like, how did we manage to do this?
There's a charm to not being able to instantly communicate with each other and to coordinate something and to meet up.
And for it to actually work out.
Yeah, that feels like
because
magic.
Nowadays it's like, I don't know, because everyone is so connected, it's like you do the thing where it's like you make the plan, you reschedule 4 times, the day before comes, hey, we still on? Yeah, we're still on. 15 minutes before, hey, I'm on my way.
Here's my
on your way? Here's my ETA. Where are you? What's happening?
I can share my location if you want.
You just lose the magic of the interaction. It's like there's no serendipity. It's the world has lost all forms of just like spontaneity because like you go, you put it in your calendar, you anticipate the traffic that's going to be on the way there. You get there, you know where you're going to park, you know how long it's going to take you to get there. You've Yelped or Google reviewed the place you're going to go to. You know exactly what drink you're going to get. You've overscheduled yourself to the ends of the earth, so you know that you have to leave by this time to get to your next place. And like your whole life has now become just a series of scheduled appointments that you just have to fulfill.
Where's the spontaneity?
That
was something that I did enjoy about, because we've had the benefit of being able to, the privilege, I dare say, of being able to do comedy festivals in different cities, including San Francisco, New York.
There was something magical about like when we went to Richmond.
And Richmond, of course.
Where we went to a comedy festival where it's like a city we had never each of us, I don't think, had ever been properly, at least. So we were like, this is all new to us. Like we don't know where to go. We kind of had some loose recommendations from the group that went last year, and we were just kind of wandering. And you just go to a spot and you just wander around.
Yes.
And you're like, do you want to pop in here? Do you want to pop in here?
It is nice because there is a community that we have a connection to.
Yeah.
In these 3 examples.
Yeah.
And even though we're coordinating to meet with each other and move with each other, we can still run into these other people.
Totally.
And that makes it feel like, how spontaneous, how
magical.
magical.
I know, how fun.
This city feels smaller and more intimate.
One of my favorite things is being a tourist in another city is running into someone in a city that you don't know.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa.
Magic.
I still talk about this to this day. This would happen like probably now like 15 or 20 years ago. It was like right out of college, right out of when I graduated college. I was working my first job and I was living in Boston, and there was a coworker that I worked with on a pretty big client. So we were working together every single day. And I had never seen this person out of a work setting before. And Boston's not a big city. It's not a big city. You know, you could run into someone there. But I was going on a trip to New York, and it was like, I was walking down the street in Manhattan, and I'm like, I see someone familiar, and I'm like, is that? And we like look at each other, and we're like, we've never run into each other in Boston, and yet we go to New York, and we immediately run into each other. We're there for like 2 days each, like over the weekend. And I'm just like, only in New York do you run into people just like, it's just like, that just happens in New York. You just like, I swear to God, I ran into like 3 celebrities on the street, just like, or just like walked past 3 celebrities on this most recent trip. And I was just like, this is crazy. I never see celebrities in LA. Yeah. I told you about one of them, and then we passed one together.
Yes, that's right.
And I was like, wow, this is so crazy. And then the notorious A-lister celebrity that we saw at one of our shows that only I saw, just me,
and only you are.
Yeah, we had this moment where like I was in the audience watching I was sitting next to you in the audience, but our friends were in a show, and I turned to the right and I'm like, that lady looks familiar, and I like do a double take, and I'm like, A-list actress sitting there, and I'm like, does it make sense? It took me like minutes to compute. Like I was like, it doesn't make sense that she's here. Like, there's no reason she should be here. She was like by herself, and she was like kind of just like innocuously sitting there. She came in late. She left early. Like, not left early. She left right away. And so I was like, it just like, but every time I looked, I was like, it has to be her. She looks it looks too much like her.
Yeah.
And so then, and then I was like, after the next day, I was like telling these guys all about it, and I was like, I can't tell whether it was true or not.
And we did detective work.
We did a little detective work.
Like, by the web of connections, it's
feasible.
And the summation of all the behaviors could line up with someone who wants to be discreet.
Yeah, totally.
Meryl Streep.
No,
it's not her.
It's not Meryl. But you know, I just like it's interesting to be like in a city. I think in New York, anything, you could see anyone. You could see anything happen.
And okay, so this is then a question of, as a transplant, the sort of idea of playing it cool.
Yes.
Because
I think
there are stereotypical things known about the places you're going to. And your enthusiasm for engaging with them will likely be judged, right?
Oh, totally.
When I was landing back in LA, there was a family who was visiting California for the first time, and as we were landing, the kids were going, "There are palm trees! There are palm trees!"
Right,
and I was like,
play
oh,
cool,
yeah,
play
guess,
cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, kids
can say
certainly
that
enjoy it
because, like, that's unbridled enthusiasm for anything, like
but
a tree.
I'm of two minds. One is that, like, let people enjoy things for because these things can be mythological for people who see for the first time. And the other part of it for me,
the Empire State Building,
the U.S. Bank Tower.
We're like, what's the equivalent of like what's our most famous landmark? Skyline landmark?
Sign,
the Hollywood sign, but it's not even like a skyline thing. We were like, because like we were talking about like how like iconic the New York skyline is, and how we couldn't even point to the LA skyline. We were like, you could show us a picture of it, a silhouette of the LA skyline. I'd be like, what city is that? Is that the Twin Cities?
Why, that's the notorious. I couldn't name it.
Yeah, I couldn't name one.
I couldn't name it.
It's funny because like all the like infamous buildings in LA are like low. Like the Capitol Tower record, the Capitol Records building is kind of iconic. There's like a few things. Like Griffith Observatory is iconic. Oh
yes, I do love the
but it's not part of the skyline.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. But anyway.
But the second thought I had of like people being enthusiastic for the first being let people enjoy it.
Yeah.
My second thing is as someone who likes to try to draw the least amount of attention.
Yeah.
Just internalize it.
Right. Well, it's also like I think and the celebrity thing comes up, but also when you're in like wealthier spaces, like if you're at a country club, I actually think my hot take is Pasa? I don't know if it's a Pasa or not. When you're in like a wealthier space, there is a tendency for us social democrats to like be like, this is absurd. This is like, how can you like live in this space where like you're putting people under servitude? Like to basically criticize all the like benefits of being in a wealthy space, right? Like let's use a country club for example, like where it's like all about white glove service and like it's about exclusion. My hot take is like, you gotta just like accept that this is what it is. And like not make a big deal about it. You just like enter the space and you just follow along. Like, you don't point out that this is kind of like late stage capitalism. Like, you don't point out all the bad parts of it. You just live in we're playing a part. And I think you can draw that for like being in a city, right? Like, you're not going to go to New York and complain about, damn, there's so much foot traffic. Everyone's bumping into everyone. This place sucks. Like, you go to New York being like, this is what I'm experiencing here. In the same way, you can't come to LA and be like, God, why is there so much traffic in LA? Why are we driving so much? Like, you came to LA.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the deal. Like, you just accept it. And like, we were talking before we even started recording, like, about like liking the things that are good about a city and not complaining about the bad things.
Yeah.
Like, just go to the city and be like, I'm coming to this because like New York is like the greatest city in the world, but it's like such a populated city. It's such like a in your face city. Like, you can't complain that people aren't polite.
Right.
Because like that's how people get by in New York.
Yes. It's a cultural thing. I think they're a lot more just upfront about it. They can still be caring, but they also want you to be
they got your back. They got your back when you need it.
Yeah, I've witnessed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just throughout my trip, people looking out for each other.
Yeah, totally. People are like, at the end of the day, they're watching out for your safety. They're watching out for your well-being, but they're gonna call you out on stuff too. It's like classic line. I'm walking here.
Yeah.
I'm walking here.
Everyone was saying
that I'm walking here.
Everyone was saying
because they're always walking.
They're always
walking.
And in LA,
I'm driving here.
But the windows are up.
Yeah, I know, right?
And we're in traffic.
Yeah, we're in traffic.
No.
I'm driving here.
No. I think here's another thing that I think is important to think about when you're experiencing a different place is your takeaway from it all. Try to be wary of if you're trying to reaffirm biases you've already internalized.
Yeah, completely.
People are always like, people in LA
are
so shallow, everyone's so vapid.
Whatever.
Were you just spending time in entertainment circles?
Yeah.
In the Hollywood area?
I know.
Did
Come
you
on.
go to South LA at all?
You were sought out. You sought it out. I know. I'm like, also, you came to the city for like, also realize that if you're just doing touristy things, you're not experiencing that city, right? Like if you come to LA and you go to Hollywood and Highland and you go to the Walk of Fame, you're not getting a representation of what LA is, right? Like, there's so much more happening in LA. LA is a huge city.
Massive.
Like, the greater Los Angeles area is like 15 million people or whatever.
I would say there's probably a sub-community that exists for every interest and niche.
Oh, absolutely.
That you have to seek out in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Which you don't have to do as much in New York because it's just there.
Yeah.
You can stumble upon it in New York. We do a lot of like, I think there's always like an LA, New York like comparison trap, which I like. I love both cities. I grew up in LA and like we can get into it, but I still think New York is the #1 city in the world.
It scratches a lot of itches for me. It satisfies a lot of things of what I personally value in a city.
Yeah.
But having lived in Southern California all my life, I do love the life.
Oh my God, I love it. I love LA. I love LA.
I love
LA for
DMCA.
what it is because it's a different vibe, obviously, but it still carries a lot of. There's a lot of like they're spiritual brothers, right? Or sisters. They exist with similar directional paths, but they're just expressed in different ways. But what I loved, I think this most recent trip was so illuminating or enlightening about New York is that like I understand why New York is so much more or feels so much more Democrat than LA can feel sometimes, because LA is a blue city, but there's a lot of red people here. And so for me, it's like what I realized is like New York is like you're sharing space all the time. You step outside your apartment, even in your apartment, you're sharing space. Like you're sharing walls, you're sharing like soundscapes. But when you step out in New York, you're sharing the sidewalk with everyone. You're sharing the subway with people. Like I would argue that like 25% of your mental capacity is being used to just anticipate your surroundings, like what you need to be aware of, like what people are doing, where you need to occupy space. And you don't have to do that as much in LA. Like you can be in your car, you can park in your parking spot, you can walk and never really like bump into anyone. And I think that like when you live in a city like New York, you understand on a broader scale that we share this planet with like a lot of people. Whereas like I think the main thing that Republicans, the right wing does is they think that they can be islands, right? Like they often exist, and that's why they moved to Orange County. They like live in spaces where they like never have to interact with anyone else, where they never have to be inconvenienced by anyone else's existence. And like I think so much of what imbues New York with its like flavor is that everyone is aware that they're constantly sharing space with each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that like really breeds like a more robust community, mm-hmm. a stickier community. There's a sense of shared pride around that. It can make people more abrasive for sure.
Sure.
But in that abrasiveness, I think people have a bond that can't be replicated in other cities.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to say forced integration, but
no, but it is.
Yeah.
But like you have everyone taking the subway.
The equalizer,
the great equalizer.
Regardless
like
of your wealth class, unless you're extremely wealthy.
If you're extremely wealthy and you have like a personal driver, but at the same time, sometimes it's actually faster just to take the subway.
Yeah,
it's like would you rather sit in like 45 minutes of traffic, or would you take the subway 4 stops and be there in 20 minutes? Like it's a no-brainer for me. Like I would much rather take the subway, even if I had a car or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. It's both simultaneously. Like probably there's more wealth disparity in New York. Like there's so many people who have so much money, or there's like a lot of people who have so much money, and then there's like everyone else. In LA, it's a little more, I think, just spread out wise. It feels that way, and even like the really rich people like don't seem quite as rich as the richest people in New York do.
Yeah. Is there behavior in transplants that you judge, say here in LA?
I think I don't like when people come to LA and try to compare it to other cities and like get hung up on things that, and I guess I would argue this happens in many cities, but I hate when people like judge a city based on expectations that they have, and they didn't really try that hard to like figure it out. Like especially coming to LA and people are so vapid here, or, like people move here for like a year and they expect certain things out of it. Like they expect people to be served up to them, community to be served up to them. They're like not putting in the effort to make it. Like they can be like, people in LA are so superficial, they don't really want community, but like that's not true at all. Like people do very much want community, and like they want to like form communities, and we found, I think, good communities that we've been a part of for a long time. And so I think that like I get really pissed off when transplant come to the city expecting it to give them something. I mean, and I would argue there's more so than New York. There's a very specific type of person who comes to LA expecting the city to deliver them a dream. People, I think there are a lot of dreamers who come to LA.
Yeah. They're both cities for dreamers.
Yeah, but I think New York is a more practical dreamer.
Yeah.
It's a person who wants to live a lifestyle, who wants to have a career or like be in the mix. LA's like the like, I want to be famous. I want to do the thing that no one else can do. Right? I want to be in the top 0.01% of like people who people see. Whereas New York, it's like, I want to be part of I want to like live my life. I want to be like out at bars. I want to be, it's like a lifestyle choice.
I did get a better sense of like what an average human should look like. Maybe not should, but just like in New York, just the sheer spectrum of people you see in certain circles here in Los Angeles.
Right.
It selects for a certain type of.
Yeah, did we have this conversation? Or were we having this conversation about like, well, I think I asked you the question, like, do you think people are fitter in New York? Did I ask you that?
Oh, maybe.
And was like, I think generally people are, because they walk so much, are just generally more fit, but I think LA selects for beauty.
Selects for, yes.
People self-selectively move to LA because they're pretty, because they're trying to leverage their looks.
And some people are just born pretty in the city.
Some people are just born in LA and they're beautiful. Not us. We're trolls living in a little cave. Don't look at us.
Don't perceive us. It's just going to be compilation.
We're like comedians. Why we're trying to like be behind the camera. No, it is. Yeah. I think it's like interesting. Like people, I think, right, this is sort of like not a new thing to say, but like New York is a brain drain and LA is like a looks brain. The brain drain happens with looks. People come here, get sucked. All the best looking people get sucked to LA from all over the country because it's like the place that beautiful people go. And like in New York, people are like hyper ambitious, and that's who goes there.
I will say, my time in Brooklyn, I was like, there are a lot of beautiful people.
Oh, absolutely. I think honestly, like my thing is like, LA has, I would say the top 1% of beautiful people in LA are more beautiful than the top 1% of beautiful people in New York. But the top 25% of people in New York who are of beauty are far more beautiful than the top 25% in LA. That's my take.
Hot take.
Generally speaking, the sort of like middle section of New York is more attractive than the middle section of LA.
I think it just saw a greater representation of different.
Oh my God, so many more people. Actually, we were looking this up. I wasn't actually sure. I thought that this was kind of like an interesting fact, but like the conversation came up with my sister's boyfriend of like if there's a bigger black community in New York versus LA.
I felt like it.
It's much bigger actually. So I didn't realize this, but like LA is about 10%. There's a black community, and in New York I think it was like 20. It's twice it. So it was like pretty much bigger. It's a lot bigger.
I really liked my time in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So I think it's just like it feels more diverse.
Yeah.
There's no self-segmenting. Like it's like harder to self-segment, to segregate. Whereas LA does feel very community, racially segregated.
And you can kind of tell just spending time on the subway how much more normal it is for people to interact with each other from across different and cultures. Because you can certainly feel the resistance sometimes when there are people in spaces here in LA.
Oh, completely.
They're not used to having people. So it's just kind of like,
yeah, you're like, how do I interact with this other social group, right? Yeah, completely. But in New York, it's like, oh, you can see literally like people
living their lives
from every social class in one subway car. The subway car is like the great equalizer, like you said.
There was a woman in front of us in the Shakespeare in the Park, Romeo and Juliet. She was gorgeous.
Oh, really? I don't think I.
No,
was she like?
She was maybe diagonal
to us. Okay.
And I was just like, I've never seen anyone like her before.
It's true. You do see just like beautiful people out in the wild.
It's nice, and there's something to be said about the beauty of just people living their lives.
I know, it is nice.
I have a question.
Not
for you.
Not putting themselves online. Like in LA, when you see someone like the quickest way to like turn me off to someone is like watching a beautiful person like know they're beautiful and then like putting an Instagram video up or something like that showing how beautiful they are.
That's what makes you beautiful. One Direction.
One Direction. That's what they said. That's what makes you beautiful. Posting it.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Let's say in a hypothetical, you're about to visit a city you've never been to.
Yeah.
Maybe in a different country.
Yeah.
Are you doing any research beforehand? Are you thinking about are there sources
like
that you're consulting
like
in terms of customs?
Yeah.
What you're gonna do? What you're gonna hit up?
You know,
general
I
formula
don't
you follow?
do as much research as other people do. I'm very much like a get there and explore,
Mm-hmm.
but I do a little bit of research. Like I do like to know like if there's anything that I can majorly offend people with, like especially in other countries, right?
Japan.
Like I did do something very faux pas in Japan one time, and I didn't realize it until afterwards. I was God, America's really done a number on all of us, but because I'm so used to like tipping baristas like $2 or $1 every time you like get a coffee from them, which like they're so underpaid that I have to do it. But like in Japan, I inadvertently offended this woman because I went to a coffee shop. It was this whole fiasco. I was meeting up with my friend. We'd gotten an Airbnb. The lockbox didn't work. We ended up not being able to get into the Airbnb the whole night. So we ended up having to like walk down and find a hotel. Anyway, I was waiting. His flight was getting in like 4 hours later or something like that. So I'd gotten there expecting to get into the Airbnb first, but I couldn't get in. So I ended up killing time at this coffee shop nearby. So I was like on my laptop, just like hanging out, took the coffee. And at the end, I just like left the like 100 yen or something that was left over. And
they chased you out. They followed you out.
She was so confused. She like was like, no. She like handed me it back. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh shoot, I was not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was so in the habit of just like having to leave cash behind that I like didn't realize. And I kind of knew it in the back of my head that it wasn't like, but you know, you go back to a country, because I'd been to Japan before, and you go back to a country and you're like, maybe things have changed. Like, because like tipping culture has like infiltrated other places.
The more
and I'm like,
areas.
I didn't expect it to be offensive. Like I was like, oh, like let me just do something nice. Like, because in Europe you do leave a tip, but you don't leave as much of a tip. Like you leave maybe like 5 to 10%, and it's not offensive to leave more tip. So I was like, let me just leave it. Like, why not? Just to be like, hey, thank you so much for letting me sit here. But she was like, no. She like pushed it back in my face, and I was
it's
like,
a faux pas.
Yeah.
It is so interesting when something that's normal to you in one culture or custom is so severe in others.
I think the one thing that's like hard is when like you offend someone by doing, but if you, the custom is something that's kind of like awkward or embarrassing for you. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, oh, we're all supposed to be naked now.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable, but I know you'd be offended if I weren't.
We went to Iceland.
Yeah.
And then we went to some spas.
And
they're very much like, hey, fully disrobe.
They did have like things that were like fully disrobe.
Yeah.
And like,
And look,
to be fair, we are going in together, and we're like, we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. I have trouble seeing my own.
Yeah. Like I don't even want to look at myself in the mirror. But
no,
I was
there's part of me that's curious about everybody else.
But also, it was like a measured risk because I was also like, if we're in our bathing suits and we're washing down, we're getting most of it off. Like we're cleaning up. We're like, it's not like we're skipping the shower beforehand, but you could tell that like we were definitely like showing ourselves as Americans.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to go outside my total comfort zone to do it.
There's a line to walk, right? Like if you're going to a Japanese onsen,
yes,
it's fully nude.
You have to, right?
You have to.
Yeah.
If you go to a Korean spa here in LA, you have to go.
I know, right?
I had to.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most vulnerable experiences.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to do this. Like I wouldn't want to go with any of my friends for sure.
It is definitely not. But it is certainly healthy to see other nude bodies.
Oh, totally. Yes. Oh, for sure. And
the
like
dysmorphia
nude,
is
the body
wild.
dysmorphia is like awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can totally get into that.
Yeah. Maybe that's another time.
Yeah, it's another time. We can talk how body dysmorphia. Because we all have it, right?
That's a juicy one. But back to being like a transplant.
Yeah, and I think like was interesting. We went to Iceland together, Reykjavik, and we just like were mostly tourists. But I think what was like really nice was like, which I would argue is like the best way to spend your first day in any city is do a walking tour with a local, because you just like learn a lot about like the customs, and you get a lay of the land. And I think that's always really nice to be like when you're a tourist in a city for like not that long, but like it gives you like on the ground, and it's specifically a walking tour. I think is good because it like really like gets you on the ground. You're seeing things slowly. You're not just driving past them. I think that's really important.
You're really spending time among everybody in the space.
Right.
That is always a nice plus that not everyone can have, is when you're visiting somewhere, you have a friend or a local who can show you around.
I love when you have a local.
You experience the city through them. I stayed with my friend in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
It's just such a different trip.
Yes.
You're lucky if you have a local friend there.
When I go to the Philippines, I always have a great time just because your family is there.
Yeah.
They know how to navigate and maneuver and interact with people.
What is the longest you've stayed in another place?
I think Philippines. For a month.
Okay. And so like that's a pretty long time. Like so what did you do to like, I mean, you're staying with your family, so you have sort of have that dynamic to go. Like, how do you integrate with in your family's place? But also, like, how did you like? Because a month is long enough that you have to settle in, right? You have to do anytime you have to do laundry. Like, suddenly you're in the routine of like the daily life.
Yes.
So like, what did you do to like? What were the things that you sort of like had to change about your behavior?
I think the thing that I always have difficulty with is engaging in another country's language.
Yeah,
especially just like as a Filipino American.
Yeah.
I think that's always a difficult thing because it makes me think about like people who visit, say, France.
Yeah.
It's either they want you to do
English,
it. They want you. Well, sometimes it's like they want you to try.
Okay.
And speak French before they
tell you how bad your French is, and they say no, we'll switch to English now.
Right. And then some people are just really enthusiastic when you engage with their culture.
Yes, of course.
So
like if you can learn a few choice phrases.
Yes. So yes, I definitely picked up more Tagalog.
Oh, great.
And was using it more, and was just kind of floating it by my family a little bit more as sort of
it's a nice chance to like test your limits a little bit with language.
I think it is a really good. I think it's probably always good to try and engage with the language, even though there might be perception of like you shouldn't. It's so embarrassing. Whatever.
Yeah,
I think there's some degree. I mean, like there are talk about gatekeepers.
Yeah,
I think some people are just gonna want to raise up those gates on you.
Yeah,
but it also lets you know that you just kind of position yourself to be deferential as a guest talk about being a guest in another place.
Language is one thing. I think the other big thing is food for me.
Yeah.
I think like I would say I'm pretty flexible in my eating habits right now, but like I'm trying to be mostly vegetarian. But when I'm in someone's house or in another country, I am not a vegetarian.
Right.
Because I think like for me, so much of like experiencing a culture is experiencing their food.
Oh, 100%.
And you can offend someone by like not taking something that they prepared for you, right? So like if they're going to offer you meat, like unless you're literally going to get sick from it or it's a religious thing, like just eat the meat. Or just like eat the thing that you are uncomfortable eating. Like don't be so picky about the food. Like, cause like you're going to another country, like food is an expression of culture. It's an expression of people's like goodwill toward you. Like just accept that gesture and at least try it.
Or if you are gonna uphold your your dietary stances, then do the research on where you're going.
Right. Don't go somewhere that they're like this. We're known for like skewers of meat or whatever. Or like I think it becomes trickier when you're like visiting friends or something and they offer you something. But and of course then you just like have to prepare them for the fact that like, hey, I'm allergic to this or whatever.
Right. Totally fair.
Which is fine. You don't have to die in another country to eat their food.
Is that an option?
But I think food is a big expression of that culture. Be adventurous. Try some stuff.
I love trying new foods.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel like you're right. It's an extension of the culture.
Yeah.
And there's something again communal about sharing a meal with the people that you're traveling with.
Totally.
Assuming you're traveling with people.
Exactly. Traveling solo too is like another experience too, where you kind of have to like be open to meeting other people or trying new things on your own, which can be very uncomfortable. Yeah, I think the whole like settling into a city is interesting, or settling into a new country. Like I've probably studying abroad was probably the longest time I ever lived in another city.
Yeah. How long was that? 3?
That was 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, so I was there for 6 months, and that was a totally different country. Obviously I've lived in other cities, and U.S. cities are sort of the same, like culturally.
Chicago, New York, LA, Seattle.
I've lived in Boston, San Francisco, LA, DC, I guess, was just for college. And so like all of them, they're all like you're occupying similar spaces, like similar people are there. Cultures are very different in only certain respects. Like I'd say Boston was like every city. I always argue that every city in the U.S. has like one major gravitational force. And like for me, Boston was like a sports city. It was all about their like sports teams. They like that was their culture. San Francisco was very much about tech. Right. It was all about like, even though there's other stuff going on in those cities, like there tends to be one thing that sucks a lot of the attention. And yeah, it was tech. It was about people like coming up with ideas. And LA is still very much like, even though there's so much more than Hollywood, it does feel like content creation, storytelling
capital, as they say.
What was that?
The entertainment
capital. Yeah, there is still that vibe here.
Yeah,
that sucks the attention. It's an attention economy, I think, here in LA. And New York is one of those cities that like the vibe is more the thing.
It's the Big Apple.
It's the Big Apple. It's like we are the gravity itself is the gravity. You know what I mean? Like the weight of the city is its own gravity.
I will never be caught dead saying this any other time, but that city is magic.
It's magic.
It is magical.
There's something magical about it. Like you get out at 2 a.m. and people are still people are out and about. Like the city never sleeps. There's always something interesting happening around every corner. It's like you could turn and there's something there. That doesn't happen in LA, really. There are places. LA is more of like you have a target and you hit that target.
Yeah,
you go
you
there.
You hit the target.
You like pick a place, you go to that place, and then you don't explore from there. You can explore an area.
Yeah.
You can go to an area and explore it, but you don't just like.
It's usually a single venture.
It's a single venture, yeah, adventure.
It's not a continuous one from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have we covered? Are there aspects of being a transplant?
Yeah.
That we have not covered. That we promised we would.
I mean, we could talk about like we promised. I think it's like you got to be respectful of public spaces.
Yeah.
I think that's like an important thing. Like respect the city, respect the space. Outside of respecting the people thing, is like I think it's like respect the people by being one of the people. Like following their lead.
How are people behaving?
Yeah. Yeah. How do I sort of just like, it's like in an alien body snatch movie where everyone's becoming and you're the only one who hasn't been snatched.
Right.
And you got to like pretend to be.
You
got to pretend to be snatched. And so that's what you got to do in a new city. You got to be like, I'm with you. I'm here. What are you doing?
It's that moment in The Mummy when the guy.
He's like, oh, yeah.
He's
like, oh.
That's who you are in a transplant.
Yeah, exactly. Or like the zombie movie where you're like going through a zombie crowd and you have to pretend to be a zombie. That's what you got to do when you move to a new city.
Here's a charged question for you if you wish to engage.
Please.
You're traveling abroad again.
Yeah.
You hit it off with some locals in this country you're visiting, and they ask, are you American?
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I think what's interesting about me, and probably with you too, is like when you're not a white American, you kind of get a free pass a little bit. Like I engage with it. I say I'm American. Yeah, sure. But like inherent to like my physical appearance is like that I'm multicultural and that I like that we exist in like Because, like, honestly, what ends up happening is mostly people don't, like, single me out as American. They single me out as, like, Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And so that ends up being the thing. Like, they'll be like, what are you? What it's like, where are you from? Like, that's the big question that people ask me.
That kind of touches upon when you're asking about my time in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like, they're able to assess me out as a Filipino American specifically.
Yeah, they know right off the bat.
You're definitely perceived differently.
Yeah, I mean, like, certain things, just like what you wear tells people.
Definitely what you wear. There's either a servile deference to you, or a sort of disdain. Are you a true or a real?
I see. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I remember. So when I went to Spain to live abroad, we stayed with host families, and my host mother or whatever was the first person kind of who like succinctly pointed it out. Cause I was talking to her and I was like, cause when we were abroad, we also like used it as a chance to travel around like what was in the area. And I was considering going to Morocco, and she kind of like cautioned me against it a little bit. I think that the Spanish have like some pretty backwards views about North Africans and North Africa in general, because I think there was a lot of like immigration from North Africa to Spain. But outside of that, she was kind of like, be careful because it can be dangerous and things like that. And so she kind of cautioned me about like going there. But then she was like, and they also hate Americans because like this was still Iraq war time. And like, so things were like not good from the Americans' perspective. But in the same breath, she was like, well, maybe you could get away with it because you like don't quite look.
Don't read
American. They might see you as just Asian.
But if you wear your baseball cap, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know, right? But I wear my New York Yankees cap. So it was interesting like to think. That was the first time I was like, oh, like how do I like occupy space in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that for my friends who are like Americans, but also like not white. Like, how do we occupy space abroad, which is really interesting because, like, and then me as, like, mixed race is also interesting because, like, I already, like, people have different ideas of, like, what I am when they see me in America that, like, even when I go abroad, it's different, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're American, but you're also, like, mixed race. You're also, like, from different cultures, like, all those things. Like, what do they believe your identity is formed from?
That is always a fascinating thing. I think something we do take for granted is just the amount of integration of ethnicities in the U.S. When you go to a place that is more of a monoculture,
right,
then you kind of forget just, like, the presence of a major demographic within that. Like, so for example, there are a lot of Chinese people in the Philippines.
Right, totally. And they're seen a very specific way.
They're seen a specific way.
In Spain, weirdly, when I was there, all Chinese immigrants owned like the corner bodega store.
Mm-hmm.
That was what they were known for. They were actually like called chinos.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how they were like seen in society.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting like to come to Spain, look Asian, East Asian, but be like kind of like upper middle class, like private school, like private college, like transplant from America, like occupying a very specific space that's like different from like what you would typically see them as. It's interesting because also when I would travel in China too, I was always curious like how people perceived me there, because my experience growing up was that like full Asian people often saw me as more white, and white people often saw me as more Asian. And so when I went to China, I think that people didn't quite know where to place me. One weird, interesting thing I think is like there's this like Uyghur population in China that is like they look more Middle Eastern. They have Asian features, but they do look more like Western Asian, like Kazakhstan or whatever. And so like I kind of like do look like them more than I do like typical East Asian. So there was like kind of that. And then there was also just like, the way I looked was also like more American because I definitely do not look Chinese national,
You're like
by
an
national.
anomaly.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, of course, like you see a white person, you go to China, they're like, whoa, you're a white person. That's crazy. But so it's a little bit more subtle when they see me. They're like, because they can't place me quite.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're circling around this sort of idea of having an awareness of yourself, your identity, your status,
right,
where you come from when you visit another place.
Yeah, exactly.
To be conscious.
You have to be aware of like what space you occupy and like the problems that you might cause as like a tourist in that place, and to be aware not to like flaunt that or to like be vocal in a way that like doubles down on whatever is annoying about the people in your tourists in that or transplants in that city.
Because I think there's a built-in perceived wealth and status to being an American.
Yeah,
if you go
probably.
to certain places.
Yeah,
I think that's why I was treated. Part of why I was treated differently, just when people in the Philippines were able to clock me as American.
Right.
I think there's some expectations.
Sure.
And it is interesting. You're talking about how you can be placed in one camp of being too much, too white, too Asian.
Yeah.
Even in any again back in like a mono culture.
Yeah.
They can still slice it. They can still slice a difference to be like, oh, you're not exactly.
Oh,
you're
completely.
too light skinned. You're too dark skinned.
Yeah, totally. You behave in a different way. Like, you'll never
You
understand.
don't speak the language.
No, people can infinitely cut up society into these smaller sort of like segments.
Yes.
So it's fascinating to see like how you are identified. Because I always find it like funny. Like this is more talking about identity in general, but like there is like how you perceive yourself and how people like have, especially in this day and age. Like yesterday I went to a show with my friend. It was a one man solo show, and it's always funny because like a solo show always has to deal with like it's always revolving around how you identify yourself. You know what I mean? Like the thing that you think uniquely is you,
right? And
like it's always a form of identity. Yeah. But I'm always like, because like people form their identity in so many ways, and it's not always, but like oftentimes like how people perceive you identity wise is very different from how you perceive yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Because people will just be like, oh, you're just like how they describe you. Like you're like, you could be like, you're a Filipino man or whatever like that. But that has nothing to do with like who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're as humans, we're pattern recognizing creatures. Yes. We're looking to categorize things. And
totally.
Sometimes that can be, it's certainly a quicker way to process things, but you know, life is in the nuance and the gray.
Oh, completely.
Right?
There's like, I think there's kind of like this like, in the last like 10 years, there's been this like reaction to identity politics in a way where it's like, if we're not identifying based on our like sort of inherent characteristics that we can't change, like race or gender, sex and sexuality and things like that, like what can we identify as, and how are people leaning into that now?
Yeah, I'm a gamer.
Yeah,
like, I watch anime.
I like this very specific thing. I am into Magic the Gathering. I feel like we've covered a lot.
We have covered a lot. It's bled into. It's just there's a lot that factors into being a transplant or being a tourist,
a different city or a different country.
There's just so many different factors. The location you're going to, the kind of person you are.
I would say like a few rules of thumb, like get the lay of the land before you get there. Like kind of know the vibe, like know the culture, know what's like the major do's and don'ts of that culture, like, and try to like adhere to those social rules. Then your first couple of days there should just be about absorbing. Acclimating. Don't talk too much. Listen. Yeah. Like a good conversationalist spends the first few minutes just listening. And so you're getting a vibe for what the city is and what you should be doing and how people are talking and how people are acting. And then your job is to like become like a bit of like a mimic. Like just like follow the lead. Don't do anything too big. Like don't again, I like a 60% of the energy of the city. Like hit that target.
Yeah. And I would also say be aware of the gatekeeping sensibilities of the place. And there are some things you'll probably want to do in spite of those things. Yeah. Maybe you do want to see those palm trees and celebrate them so bad.
Maybe you do want to go to the top of the Empire State Building.
You do.
That's okay too.
Go to the thing I would not recommend as a Los Angeles visitor, you really don't need to see the Walk of Fame.
No, do not.
You really don't need to.
You guys will be so shocked by how disgusted you are for that.
I mean, if you're doing many things,
look, if you're going to vandalize a particular star, go for it.
When we're thinking of a star,
but avoid Hollywood in general. It's not great.
Really
you don't need to go there. There are many more places.
There's other places.
Yeah. Also, just like go somewhere different. Go to a spot where like tourists don't go all the time. Yeah. I mean, but it is totally fine to go. If you're there for the first time, go to the tourist spots.
Hit the spots.
Hit the spots, but then at least try one or two places that like maybe seem like a little bit different or like just where the locals hit.
And whether you mean to or not, you are representing a group of people who are visiting a place.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't unchain yourself from like the society that you're born into. You are a representative of that. Regardless, people are going to see you a certain way, and you have to like understand that that's how the context in which you'll be received. So like, I may not draw my identity from whatever being mixed race or whatever. Like that's not like core of my identity, but like know that like people are gonna like want to pick that apart. You know what I mean?
You're not always going to be welcomed by everybody.
Yeah.
At the place that you go to.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's part of the experience of travel and journey.
I think part of like growing up and being an adult is knowing that not everyone is gonna like you. You're not gonna be for everyone.
But you're there for a reason, and there's some things that you want to indulge in for yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to measure at what cost does it come? Does it come at the expense of others?
Yeah.
Does it come at the expense of you, the people you're traveling with, the people you're sharing the space with, and make those informed judgments?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like all common sense stuff, but I think like it needs to be said. Just you're vibing with the community, you're vibing with the city, you're vibing with the country. You gotta don't go to a country and be like, I'm an American, I'm gonna do it my American way. Like, don't go to Japan and look for like Texas barbecue or whatever, unless Japan is like
you want the novelty
of it or whatever. Yeah,
by all means,
go to experience what's going on in that city.
Out.
Yeah, because you're going there for a reason. Like you're going there not to like do your same old thing or be your same old self. Like you're going there to shake things up. Like, and you're doing that by like.
For yourself, for
yourself. Not don't shake up the city.
Yeah.
You're shaking up your life.
Look out, Tokyo. Here
I know. Where here comes a 7.2 magnitude earthquake.
Oh, Terry.
So yeah, I feel like that's basically that covers sort of like what you should do, how you should transplant.
It touches on a broader life thing.
It is. Think of yourself as a transplant always. Yeah. You're always transplanting into new spaces, into new social groups.
Surgeons not welcome.
Surgeons, this is not about you.
This is not about you.
Don't come here being like, I thought this was about surgery.
No. That's all I have.
That's all I got. Welp. I think we covered it.
That's a welp. I'm Jed.
I'm Terry, and this was another episode of Why Human Do.
I zigged when I wanted to zag.
Zag, yeah.